Okay, strategic thinking. So let's bring these elements together. We went through 4 main elements. I'm going to talk about them in a second. The whole point of this is to step back, look at the big picture, and think strategically. So when you have an idea that comes up, how does this impact me? Or there's something that you need to react to. How does this impact us on the long term? And if you always think in these 4 areas, you're going to be in pretty good shape, and you're also going to be really, really valuable for the organization. And it's going to allow you to understand how you could and should move through the organization based on your strengths and what you bring to the game, right? So what are the 4 elements? So overall, first, what did we start with? We looked at space. We looked at horizontal space, vertical space, thinking 2 levels up and at least 2 levels down. And then look side to side. You're living in your function. What are the functions on the side of you, and who do you impact the most? Who impacts you? After that, we looked at time, long-term, short-term, defining time in what's the long-term for you, your organization, your industry, and what does short-term look like? So that way, when you think about what's an impact, you're being pushed to get something done in the short term, how's that impact you overall for the long term? Nice. Next one we talked about people, relationships. What are the strategic relationships you have? Back to that big box, horizontally and vertically, where are the strategic relationships that you need to be able to that you can affect the organization as you need to? And what are those strategic relationships that are going to affect you? Last one is finances. Understanding the most important thing is that you understand the business cycle, the plan, the budget, and then where's the money coming from? What's the cycle coming and going in and out? So that way you understand those elements. You're going to have to define for your industry what those are. But you can see if you're in it, so let's say a problem comes to you now. This problem comes to you about research and development, a new sector. Maybe you want to start a new project and maybe look at a new business sector. If you look at these areas, if you look at these 4 areas right here that we just talked about, and you make your decision based upon these 4 areas, you're going to be seen as a strategic thinker because you're taking all those things into account. So you want to be a strategic thinker? Just kind of carry these things around, maybe something on your desk that talks about them a little bit, so that way you can think, okay, how this is a problem, how does this impact me here? How does it impact us long term? People, finances, overall particular view in the long term, in the time. It's a great way to think about it, and I've done this with a number of different folks to help broaden their perspective of how they're impacting their organization and how their organization is impacting them. Thanks for listening. I hope you found this series on strategic thinking helpful. I welcome the opportunity to work with you and help you expand your view.